What if I told you there was just one thing you need to do and you'll see massive improvements in your Fortnite skill? And it's one thing that could take you from a 0 PR player to making your first earnings in exactly one season. It could take someone from 500 PR to a full tier 1 pro in a super short amount of time. What if I told you that you already know what this is? And this one thing has been done for many thousands of years, and all you need to do is start implementing it every time you play Fortnite. And this one thing will make you improve at rates which are way off the charts, and every tier 1 pro does this. And you may think you are doing it, but you're actually probably doing it wrong, and it's holding you back as a player so much, and it's not allowing you to reach your full potential. And this one thing is learning from mistakes. We all know if we make a mistake, we shouldn't do it again. That is how our brains are made. If I take you back in time when we all used to live in tribes, our bodies and minds worked in a way which learn not just from our mistakes, but from others as well. For example, if you heard that someone went to a place and got eaten by a lion, then someone else went to that place and got eaten by a lion, we'd probably learn from that mistake and not go there in fear of being eaten by a lion, as that's the way our brains are set up. But a lot of the time, we only learn from the big mistakes that punish us badly. The biggest problem in Fortnite is if we make a mistake and it's a big mistake, we're fully aware of the mistake and we probably won't do it again. But there's so many little mistakes we make over and over again without even knowing we're doing it. But why is that? Well, in Fortnite, you can make 100 different mistakes before you die, but the main mistakes that stand out to us most of the time are the big mistakes we make in fights. Like if we do a bad edit and get one pumped, we rage about that bad edit and say we won't do it again, but we're just completely ignoring the 10 to 20 other mistakes you also made in that exact same fight to lead you to that situation where you made that bad edit. Which is why I want to showcase to you how you should actually be learning from your mistakes and what you could do to make sure you improve at incredible level. So our first step for figuring out our mistakes is to play a game, and I want every single person to start doing this from now on. I want you to do 2 things and 2 things only. First thing I want you to do is make an improvement Discord server, or make a notes page on your phone, or just get a notepad, whatever works best for you. And the second thing I want you to do is record every single one of your games. However this may work best for you. If you're playing duos or trios, then maybe record your games using something like NVIDIA, and then watch them back while you're waiting for your next game when you're queued up in the lobby. Or if it's solos, you could just turn replay mode on so it records your games, and after every single game, without failure, do not make excuses. I don't care if you was in the game for 30 seconds and you 50-50'd a weapon and lost, or whether you dropped a 20 kill win. Without failure, every single game, I want you to watch that game back and be super critical of yourself. If you really want to make your first earnings or make it pro bad enough, you will do these things without failure. I'm literally giving you 3 things you need to do here. I want you to record your games, write down every single mistake you make, and it can literally be as little as building a full box off spawn when you didn't have enough mats to do that, or rotating below the mounting. Then in the next game, I want you to pick one thing from that list. If it's something simple, pick 2 or 3 things, but at least one thing in each game you're going to work on that mistake. And next game, you do the same thing, go in, write down each mistake. Eventually, you'll see 2 things form. One thing you'll see is one small habit in your game that is getting you killed many different times, that has probably lost you over 1,000 arena points in your time alone. And 2, you'll find you'll stop making the same mistakes and you'll start to build these better habits and improve at rapid rates. You'll get much more kills, you'll see yourself improving so much as a player. And this doesn't just work for solos as well. Do it when you do 1v1s. Go in, play 5 1v1s, and then record them all, watch them back, and then go play another 5 against someone different, and this time working on the things you did wrong. Now, no one can actually make you do this. I think it's more how bad mentally you want to be able to get your first earnings and make it pro. Some people will come away from this video now and think, you know what, Taven has a point here, and they're actually going to start recording their games. And they'll do this for 1 to 2 days, then just stop doing it and go back to wondering why they're not good enough to go pro or even make their first earning. And that's when you should question if you're just playing the game for fun, and there's nothing wrong with that, and this is a great way to be able to test that. But there'll be some people, it may just be one person that starts doing this, it may be multiple people, and I hope it's you watching right now that does this for every single game. They're going to record them, they're going to watch them back each game to see what they can improve on, and then they're going to write down all their mistakes and work on at least one mistake each game. Now, I'm going to show you how to actually analyze your games properly as well, because if I was just told this information, the first thing that would pop into my mind is that how question of how do I actually analyze these games properly. So don't worry, I got you guys. So I'm in replays now, and we're just going to be breaking down this game and picking out every single mistake I make. So the first thing I do is I do actually land on this SMG here, and then for some reason, I don't know why, I just do this really weird loot route. I mean, usually what I do is I land up here and then run in and loot all this side, but for some reason I landed down here and then decided I was going to go through and do this weird loot route here, which actually meant I didn't get much loot right off the bat. So already I've actually made my first mistake of poor off-spawn planning. I didn't really know where I was going to go. I didn't really have the greatest drop in the world, even though I did land on an SMG. But it led to me fighting this guy here with literally just 2 SMGs and an AR. In this fight, first of all, I see his head and I go to try and shoot him and obviously just miss all my SMG shots. I mean, it was sort of a weird angle, so I could write down SMG aim there, but overall it was just a bit of a weird angle. And then I just hop in and finish the fight. That fight wasn't too hard. There was nothing overly bad that I did. I think the main mistake really was just not having the proper loot to fight with. I didn't have a shotgun. I just had 2 SMGs. And if I had a proper off-spawn route, I would have been able to fight him with better loot. Now, I actually do hear someone on the roof up here, so I climb up and see him, hit him for 40, and at this point, I'm just trying to get close and just hit any shot I can on him. I get in his face, just try and hop in his box, and then eventually just 50-50 him. So even though that wasn't necessarily a bad fight, I did take a massive chunk of damage, and that's just because I got too aggressive. I could have easily backed off for a second there, make sure I was holding a nice right hand peak, but instead I just got too greedy for the kill, and I ended up taking a massive chunk of damage. So the mistake I made there was being too aggressive. If I wasn't overly aggressive there, I could have backed off a little bit, because there was no real pressure on me to push in there and pick up that kill quick. Now, while I'm looting, I actually get tagged from a little distance away by a kid who's just shooting at me, and then obviously I build some walls, but I did make a mistake nevertheless. Every time you take damage, you need to realize you have made some mistake somewhere, and the mistake I made here was not building around myself as soon as I pick up the kill, because every time you get a kill, if you've got mats, you need to be building around you. Make sure you're protected, especially if you've just been in a fight where you've got lots of bullets. Off spawn is quite open, especially in this area here. It's very easy for someone just to hit you with a massive beam and then come and kill you off that. So the mistake I made here was not building around myself. You need to always be building around yourself every time you get a kill, so this mistake doesn't happen here. So far, we've already got 4 mistakes I've made in literally 2 minutes. And even though at this point, I've already picked up 2 kills, I haven't necessarily had the worst off-spawn in the world. I've had an alright off-spawn so far. I've got a couple kills on the board. I've got myself some decent loot to fight with now. But nevertheless, I still made a ton of mistakes in the process. And this is what we need to break down. These are the mistakes we don't really look at too much in depth, and we sort of overlook, because we only really look at the negatives. So when we die and stuff, and we don't look at these little mistakes we're making, even when we're winning fights. So this next guy just starts spamming whatever this mythic thing is at me. I managed to get a nice little 50 shot off on him. And here I'm just trying to take my meds. He's just keyed me really quickly. I get my mini off and I see him trying to pop some minis as well. So I just go and push him. Now again, you're going to notice I was actually quite aggressive here, and if I just placed down a wall rather than bringing my shotgun out, the chances are I was most likely going to be able to full piece him and finish the fight nice and quickly. So again, I was just too overly aggressive, I was just too busy looking for the shots, and if I literally just protected myself a bit more rather than just going for this 50-50, then the chances are I could have finished this fight really quickly and it would have been over already. So the mistake I made there, again, was just being a little bit overly aggressive, just looking to take these 50-50s. I don't need to take them. I just need to be a little bit more protective of myself, especially when he had the advantage on that cone there. He could have easily just peeked out, hit me in the head, and then placed a wall down. I was definitely at a disadvantage coming from the low ground up there, but fortunately for me, he placed down the wall there, and I didn't get hit for anything. So I go for a nice little side jump, missed my shotgun shot, so we're going to write down here, missed shotgun shot, and then I'm going to put in brackets, mid-air side jump, just so I know the exact position I managed to miss that shotgun shot in, so I can work on it after the game. Now, again, I go for another side jump, but this time I actually do hit the shot, which is a massive bonus. And then I get the cone off and just finish him off nice and easy. Even still, I made another mistake in this situation. As you can see, when I open up this right-hand peek edit here, this window edit, what you're going to see if I switch to his perspective is that I am super open to being shot here. I can hardly see him. If we skip back to my angle, you'll see I literally just see his arm in this view. And this guy can see my whole body so clearly. And that is a massive mistake because he could have easily took a nice right hand peek here, swung and maxed me, and I would have died. So the mistake I actually made in this situation here, even though I do pick up the kill because he makes a bit of a silly jump play, is poor right hand peeks, and it is again another mistake of me just being a little bit too overly aggressive, and that's just making an edit that doesn't give me a right hand peek. So I'm going to write down for my mistakes here, right hand peeks. I just need to be making sure I'm always swinging to the left, at least if I'm making an edit like that. In that situation there, it probably would have been better just to open up a window on the right side rather than the middle window. So as you can see, even though I'm winning fights, I've won 3 fights so far, and I've made a ton of mistakes already. So that's 6 mistakes I've made in 3 kills, and if I wasn't VOD reviewing this game because I thought, oh, you know what, I've got 6 kills in this game, it was a decent game, if I wasn't VOD reviewing it, then I wouldn't have picked up on any of those mistakes right there. So this is why you need to be VOD reviewing games, even if you do really well, even if you win the game, because there's always something to learn from it. So just going to see, I roll up to this wall here, and I see that he's got his back turned, so I just try and see if I can take his wall while he wasn't paying attention. He quickly turns around, and now I'm in this position here where, again, I'm just being really overly aggressive. I can see his intentions here when he placed down this ramp. I should have just started to build up here. Instead, I waited for him to edit out, and then I started to place builds, which obviously gave him that high ground advantage over me in this situation here. So there, I just failed to predict my opponent, and it could have just been a nice, easy end to the fight, or I could have at least got a big damage shot if I was able just to wait for him and was a little bit more patient. So the mistake I made there was not being patient, and that led to me failing to predict my opponent. And then here again, as you can see, we get into this position where I've got the wall, I make a window edit. This time I do actually swing to the left, and then I place this cone here to box him in. He goes to mantle up, falls back down. I've got my crosshair perfectly placed to hit a nice little 114 shot. And then here, this is where the mistake is made in this situation here. I could have easily just made a window edit. I saw him pull out that blade, and I just wanted a full piece him, just stop him getting away. But instead, I just get too overly aggressive. It's just a simple window edit, full boxing for the window edit, and it's an easy win for me from there. Instead, I'm getting really overly aggressive. If he was going to blade away as well, it would just been really easy for me to shoot him through the window edit while he's standing still. And then, luckily, he misses his shot. I missed my shot, so I made another mistake here. So 2 mistakes in 1 right there. So I got 2 mistakes I put down there. The first one is making that bad edit to box him up, and the second one is obviously missing that shotgun shot 1 tile away from my opponent. Obviously, I chase him, run up to the wall, and then I try and shoot through with the SMG. This is something more people need to do. If someone's low on health, you can really easily, if you've got an SMG, just fire bullets through the wall and hit him. Obviously here I hit him for a nice little 27 shot. And then again, I get too overly aggressive here. Obviously, you can't see this, but I had no mats in this situation. But even still, I should have just been a little bit more careful. I could have easily went for mantle play or tried to swing round to the right. Something that would have been a little more safer for me. So as soon as I go to swing this wall, he capitalizes on my mistake by making a nice window edit. Obviously, I break the wall. It's a free shot for this guy at this point. He could have really easily just hit me with max. Luckily, he hits the tree. That's the second shotgun mistake this guy has made. 2 chances to try and finish me off. He misses, places down the wall. At this point, I'm trying to back off. I'm just tracking him just in case as I'm trying to back off. And then I see him run around this side. Jump to the right. I've got the right-hand peak. He places down a wall really well. And here I see him about to edit, so I pull out my shotgun. He makes the window edit, and I finish him off. So again, I actually made another mistake in that fight. I was just being too overly aggressive. I'm just not patient enough. I just need to wait a little bit, especially when players are low on health, because this is where I seem to be getting punished the most in fight, and where I could potentially turn a winning situation easily into a losing situation. Now, I get into another fight here, hit the guy 70 by just jumping on top of him with the mythic, and at this point, I full piece him up. I'm checking to see if he went up. He didn't. I then make a nice window edit. It was a really nice right-hand peek on this as well. Sadly, he flips the ramp, so I wasn't able to get a shot on him. And then here, I'm being a little bit more patient here, which is obviously good. And then I see him edit out this side, so I quickly get those 2 edits there. I go to edit down, mess up the floor edit because I go behind the wall for cover. And here, I'm just trying to take his wall. I was being a little bit overly aggressive there, but I feel like even if he was to edit, I could have just easily just jumped up and got out, so I wasn't too worried about it. And here, I take his wall, see him there, and you'd think here I'm going to be patient. You'd think I would know that the guy's going to come out. Instead, I try to swing him, and that's the mistake I made here. When you look at this guy's angle, though, he can only see my feet coming on that left-hand peak, and me on the right-hand peak, I can just see a little bit more than he can. I do obviously miss my shotgun shot, so I am going to write that down. And then for some reason or somehow, he manages to shoot me through the floor. I don't know how, but he shoots me through. I then take a bit of a risky 50-50 at this point, hit him 114, and now I'm just looking to get some meds off. I know he's low on health because we're in Storm as well, and then he just dies to Storm. So by no means was that a perfect fight, even though I did come off on top. I could have really easily died there, made a ton of mistakes, and if I wasn't VOD reviewing this, I could have carried on making a load of those mistakes that I made. He wasn't the greatest player, and I think I got a little bit overly confident because of that, and it made me make a couple of mistakes in that fight. So I actually end up in a fight with an aura skin here. As you can see, I've got this really nice peak here, and more people need to do this peak, because if you take a look here, he cannot see me at all. I am under this floor right now. He's just randomly shot, and from my perspective, I can see him fully as he jumps down. He does place a ramp, but if he didn't place a ramp and just jumped on top of my floor, I would have been able to get a really free, easy shot on him there. So I see him jumping down to the right. I place this wall just in case he jumps down onto a ramp, and then I get ready to edit it, swinging to the left, but he goes for the floor instead. So I look up, I pull myself to the left, then I take this right hand peek. Now if you see this from this guy's perspective, again you can see this is a really, really nice right hand peek for myself. I jump up as well, so he can barely see me. He literally sees a little bit of my legs, and he's waiting for me just to swing out here now. And I know this is a good peek, so I get a little tag on him and instantly place down this wall just in case he jumps down. From here, I've now got the winning position, and I can go forwards to go and win this fight. Here, I'm just trying to get in his box. I see other people coming as well. This guy's here literally breaking everything apart, and that's where I make that mistake there. Because all the builds are breaking, I get into this weird position here where I was in a box, then all of a sudden the box is gone. This guy's made an edit. I'm like, what? Because a second ago I was in a box. So, I mean, it wasn't ideal, that guy just going through, and it did actually mean I ended up taking a load of damage in return. Now, I feel like that is just a little bit unfortunate, to be completely honest. I do hate to use that word, but I mean, I was in a box, all of a sudden the box is gone and I've been hit over 100 damage. Anyways, this guy's trying to hop in my box here, and I've just got to keep on the wall. As you can see, he's just getting really, really aggressive, and this is where I've actually made another mistake. At this point, some of you may be thinking, what, like, how have you made a mistake here? You're literally just in a box, and this guy's just trying to randomly SMG straight into your box. Where is the mistake here? Now, the mistake is, as you can see, when I was popping the slurp juice, instead of popping the slurp juice, I should have made myself a double box. It would have gave me a lot more room, and it meant if this guy hopped in, I could just run to the other box and reset the wall, which puts me in a really bad position like I am in now. This kid obviously sprays my wall. I wait for him to reload and get a nasty 185 damage shot off on him. So even though I made the mistake of not making a double box, I did get a really nice pre-fire on the guy. Little 185. And then I just double it out and just look to get right in that guy's face. Finish him off with the SMG, and that's a free kill just like that. Now let's see the mistake I made that actually led to me dying in this fight. So I end up fighting this guy here. I take a really nice angle here. The guy edits up. I get 2 walls, full piece him up, which was really nice. Then I missed my shotgun shot. Again, that is what? 3 shotgun shots I think I've missed from like 1 tile away, which obviously is a massive mistake, and I made it, what, 3 or 4 times in this game. I've made that exact same mistake of missing that shotgun shot 1 tile away, so it's definitely something I need to work on, because I had a winning position there, and sadly I wasn't able to counter off that winning position because I missed my shotgun shot, and that led to this guy hopping in his double box. Again, I'm just looking to get aggressive, get this really nice edit on him here, miss another shotgun shot. So I've just written down miss shotgun shot on high ground, get this double edit here, try and box him up. And here for a lot of this, you would say I have the winning position. I definitely do. I've got all the aggressiveness. I definitely do. I'm being super aggressive on this guy. And then I make this silly mistake here where I'm just not patient. I look to try start pickaxing his wall, even though he's looking to edit out, and I get hit. And all of a sudden, I go from having this really, really, really nice winning position where I'm super aggressive. I'm definitely on top in the fight. And I could have easily finished it off if I hit those 2 shotgun shots. And now I'm in a losing position where I've just been hit for 116 damage. All because I just was overly aggressive and wasn't patient enough. Then I do actually end up getting a little shot back on him in return. I mean, definitely not as good as his shot on me. I take a slurp juice, and then I come back down to this angle again. He decides to go up at this point, and here I'm just looking to try and take a safe way to get height. He 50-50s into my box, and to be fair to him, he hit a really nice shotgun shot here and just one-pumps me. Even though, if I was in game there and I was just thinking, what mistake did I just make? The mistake I would have thought is, oh, there's nothing I can do. I've just been one-pumped. But when we look a little bit further back, we see I made a solid 3 or 4 mistakes in that one fight alone, just before we got to the part where I got one-pumped. So it's not just that one pump that punished me, it was those 3 mistakes I made beforehand which led to that situation where I got punished by that one pump. Now I'm looking at it now and I've got a massive list of mistakes I've made. So that was a total of 15 mistakes in a game where I literally just got 6 kills and died. The main mistake sort of came from was obviously that shotgun aim when I'm fighting someone who's 1 tile away, as well as just not being patient enough and overly aggressive. And this is where I can then just go and work on stuff. I can go into Raiders 1v1 aim trainer now, work on my shotgun aim 1 tile away, and I could just practice trying to be a little bit safer, especially when I've got that advantage. You got to think, especially when you got the advantage as well, I just need to calm down a little bit more, stop putting myself in positions where I can really easily be punished, and start putting myself into some better positions where it's harder for me to get hit, and I can obviously just win the fight nice and easy without taking any damage back. And if you do this for every game, all of a sudden you'll find yourself with this massive list of all these mistakes you're making. And so many people think the biggest problem they have is not knowing their mistakes. There is no excuse for not knowing what your mistakes are, especially when you can just do something like this. I've got one game here where I got 6 kills and died, and I've got 15 different mistakes I can then go and learn off. 16 mistakes where I literally got in a game where I got into 7 fights. So after this video, I want everyone to go try this out. There's no excuse to not be working on your mistakes, especially now you know this. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, please like the video as it helps out so much with the algorithm. And comment something nice down below because I do respond to all comments. And if you like this video, you may also like this video on screen now.